Hey everyone, this is Lisa from Life in Layouts, and today I have a layout from Scrapbook Generation's National Scrapbook Day crop that they had. This was day 1 sketch. I'm going to be using the Bella Boulevard School is Cool. This collection is about 2 years old. I'm not sure if it's still available, but if it is, I'll link it below for you guys. I'm looking through the paper, trying to decide what I want to use for the sketch. When I first saw the sketch, there's like a lot of elements on the sketch, and I immediately thought of this collection in the sense that I could use a ton of embellishments because Bella Boulevard, like Doodlebug, tends to have a lot of embellishments. And I was like, oh, on the right hand side of the layout, instead of adding a bunch of the pieces that it calls for, I can do all of the embellishments. But this layout definitely takes a turn in a different direction. So I'm going to start out with this green gingham paper, and I'm going to lay this paper on top of it that has like all of the different school supplies on it. I can't tell you the size because things just change, and we'll get there in a second. I do gut the green gingham paper because this collection, while it does have some B-sides, and I did pick up the Bella Besties, they are not like the petite prints, and I wanted to save all of the B-side paper that I could, which I'm glad that I did, and you will see why very, very shortly. Once I got the green gingham paper, I go ahead and line up this paper that has all of the school supplies on it. I struggled a little bit with it, but finally got it down and then added some washi tape to the back of it to make sure that it was all secure. The sketch basically calls for a piece of paper that spans 12 inches across the 2-page layout. So you have about 10 inches on the left-hand side of the layout and about 1.5 inches on the right-hand side of the layout. I did have this pencil paper that I had cut from a previous layout that I did and used that at the top and bottom like I normally would use a 1/4-inch strip. These photos are from Eli when he was starting 5th grade, and these photos are from my favorite photographer. If you are local to the Central Florida area, definitely check out Modern Pixel Photography. I will link it below. She's been photographing Eli and our family photos basically since Eli moved in with us. I do back to school and end of school year photos with her, and then we also do spring and Christmas photos. So lots and lots of photos that I am trying to get scrapbooked as well. I love that she takes all these detail shots that I just cannot get on the first day of school. For this particular back to school, I did not have a board that most people use, so I don't have any photos of it. I have since purchased a board that we can like write all the details on, and I am perfectly okay with having photos taken before school starts and having them ready, as opposed to like the not so great photos that I take with my camera on my phone, because I'm not going to get any of these types of photos with my cell phone. The left-hand side of the layout calls for a grid style with one 4x6 photo, and then a 3x4 photo, and then 3 3x3 photos. And I really like that grid style. I'll probably use it again in another layout. It just looks really nice. I did have 2 additional photos of Eli sitting at that desk that I wanted to use, so I did pull out a flip flap to add to the layout once I get it in the page protectors. On the left hand side of the layout, I wanted to really showcase this one photo of him jumping. I just love his expression that we were able to capture in that photo. So I do go ahead and mount that photo on some red cardstock that I have pulled from my stash. I think this is a basil piece, and it has like some texture to it. This is super old cardstock that's been in my stash for quite a while. I did pull out my layering guides. You guys know I love these things. It is linked below if you guys would like to pick them up. There is a little bit of a learning curve to it, but it is definitely worth it because you get absolutely straight lines every single time and a perfect border. So once I get the photo mounted on that red, I'm going to go ahead and add it to that white paper that has all the school supplies on it. The sketch calls for it to be a little offset to the left, and then the title right there on the right hand side in that big open space. So I use my T-square ruler to measure where I want to put the grid on the left-hand side, and then using my T-square ruler to make sure it is all lined up on the right, I go ahead and add that blue polka dotted paper. I just keep the pencil paper in tack and adhere it to the entire 12 by 24 layout. Once I get both of the pieces down, then I'll turn it over and use my X-Acto knife to cut the layouts apart. So I have a perfect line in the center there. I did decide to add this larger piece up on fun foam, so I use an entire sheet of fun foam plus other random pieces that I have cut apart. This fun foam I got from Walmart, and I usually purchase fun foam from Walmart or Amazon depending on whichever is cheapest, but I'm having a lot of issues with my fun foam not adhering to my ATG, and I've never had that issue before. So lately I've had to add liquid adhesive to the fun foam as well to make sure that it sticks. So this is where I'm going to start to use all of the tons of embellishments that Bella Boulevard has, and it starts out really cute. I add a book bag, a chalkboard, an owl, a lunch tray, composition notebook, this tag that says today a reader, tomorrow a leader, and I'm liking it so far, and I'm also not liking it, but there is that rule of thumb that, like, if you don't like something, just keep adding to it. I say that all the time with your clusters, so I'm like, I'm just gonna trust the process and keep adding to it. I add the bigger pieces. I knew I was going to fill it in with smaller pieces. I knew I had to overlap some pieces. I did decide to speed up this section because it was very long by adding all these clusters. I'm going through all of the pieces, and the more I continue to add things down, the more I hate it. But I kept going with it. I was like, I'm just trusting the process. So I start adding fun foam. I thought maybe that will help by adding the dimension to it. Remember, the gingham paper is up on fun foam as well, so I knew I had to lay the pieces, at least the ones that were overlapping, up on fun foam. As I'm continuing to lay the pieces down, I'm just not liking it. Let me know in the comments below, have you guys gotten through a part of a layout where you're just like, I just don't like it, but you continue to move on thinking it's going to get better, I'm finally going to figure it out, it's going to start to look better? Or do you just say, I don't like it, and stop, which is probably what I should have done, but I did not. I'm even putting ribbon on tags, getting those down, continuing to go around the square, putting pieces down. I mean, I used a lot of fun foam. Looking back, I'm just like, I still hate it. I hate it so very much. So at this point, I am like, okay, let me work on the left-hand side. Maybe I will let it sit for a little bit, and then by working on the left-hand side, it will grow on me and I will love it. So I do add that apple card to the very far left. I also add an apple with a worm sticking out to the upper left-hand side. I'm just continuing to look through all of the embellishment pieces that I have, trying to find other things. I did find this tag that says believe in yourself, so I added that next to the apple with the worm. Then I decided that I wanted the flip flap to flip up instead of down so that I can start an embellishment cluster down below the photo, and I find this back to school, so I go ahead and add that to the left hand side. And I really like these little flashcards. I think they're super cute. I've added them, I think, on a couple of different layouts, so I add that to the left hand side. Then that's where I decide that I'm done for the evening, and as I'm laying in bed thinking about the layout, I just hate it more and more. So this is the next day, and I started to pull it up. At first I was like, maybe I just won't do the layout at all, like I won't post it. But then for whatever reason, you guys love these videos where I mess things up and I fix it. So about halfway through, I was like, I should just at least start filming it. I can make decisions later. All of it came up. It was glued down with liquid adhesive as well as ATG, pulling fun foam off of the pieces. It was just a hot mess. So at first I was still going to use the green gingham and the white paper with all of the school supplies on it. There was that clipboard that I couldn't get off, and I thought I would leave it. And then when I tried to finally remove it, I ripped the paper, and then I was just done. I was like, I'm so over all of this. I sent a picture to my friend Abby, and she was trying to give me some suggestions on it. And she was like, I think it's the white paper with all of the school supplies on it. Can you switch that paper out? Now remember, I gutted the green gingham paper, so that white paper with all the school supplies on it is stuck directly to the fun foam. I am trying to get it off. So I pull the picture off. Of course, I drop the picture in the adhesive, so then I've had to get the adhesive off the picture. Pull the red piece off and put the picture back on the red piece. And then I thought, well, maybe I can use my X-Acto knife or my spatula to get it up. And I am really trying. And at this point, I'm like, I'm just done. It is just 2 pieces of paper and I am just moving on from it. So what I decided to do was add the more busy paper to the background. At first I thought I would use the very colorful stripe paper. Then I was like, well, maybe I'll try the owl paper, and it was just too busy. But then I was having struggles with trying to match up next to the blue polka dotted paper because I didn't want anything with a white background. I did decide on the colorful grid paper, and then I pulled out a Doodlebug Petite print because I wasn't finding any of the B-sides from Bella Boulevard that I was liking. The colorful piece on the back is 9 inches, and then the yellow piece is 7.5 inches. And of course I do go ahead and gut the colorful piece, trying to save that paper because I do like that paper as well, even though it's like super busy. But I feel like having the yellow on top of it does tone it down quite a bit. Once I get the yellow down, of course, I'm going to again use some washi tape on the back to make sure that it is secure. Once I get that all together, I decided to forego the fun foam on this one and just lay it down flat. And then I just adhere it directly to the layout. I go ahead and add the photo back down, and I've already liked this better than before. I decided that I wanted my title to be Back to School, but with the number 2 instead of the word 2, as well as putting the number 2 on an apple. And I just love the way that that title sits next to the photo of Eli jumping. Then at the top of the layout, I decided to add a tag that says "School looks cool on you," as well as adding a rainbow to the top. And then of course adding that banner that says 5th grade, since this was his 5th grade photos. I really liked this tag, and there were several pieces that I really wanted to bring into this layout. At first it was the tag, and then I thought maybe I could use this clipboard. I also have that book bag up there. Thought maybe I could use that, but I forego that for the moment. Then I looked through the embellishments and I saw this pack of crayons, and I thought to myself, this is probably going to be the last layout that I'm going to be able to use crayons. Since he's still in elementary school, I feel like in middle school it probably wouldn't be appropriate to add crayons to his layout. So I decided to remove the clipboard and then add the box of crayons, and then I also added a pair of scissors. I pulled out the star enamel shapes that are a part of the collection, and I decided to add it to each one of the clusters that I have going on. I actually have like 4 clusters, I guess. And then I pulled out my color boxes in blue, green, and yellow and added that to each one of the clusters as well. All right, guys, that is it for this video. Here is my final layout as well as some close-ups. After all is said and done, I really do think that this layout turned out pretty awesome. Yes, it's nice to try a sketch, get out of your comfort zone, and do things that you may not have done in the past, and you might enjoy the new way of doing things. But then at the end of the day, you may not, and that's okay too. So if you try something new and it doesn't work for you, just remember that it is just paper, and we can take it up and we can make it beautiful and make it the layouts that you are, which I feel like this one is. I hope you enjoyed this crazy process of me putting a ton of embellishments and ephemera down and then taking it all back up. If you enjoyed this video, if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. If you haven't done so already and you want to see more double page layout inspiration, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thanks everyone for watching, and I hope that you have a scrappy day.